All right, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Masterful Conversations podcast, where we learn about leadership from the men who have served or are currently serving as a worshipful master in a regular lodge of free and accepted Masons. I am Brother Matthew Wagstaff, proud past master of Eureka Lodge number 36 out of Rochester, New York. We're currently serving as my worshipful master is Brother Jermaine Myers, and I'm with.
I am Brother Mark Alexander, proud past master of Sons of Kings Lodge number 123 out of Brooklyn, New York, where my worship master is Brother Kevin Parker.
We both hail from the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of the state of New York. We're currently serving as our Grand Master is most worshipful Darren M. Morton. So we have another esteemed guest today. We have another past Grand Master on the show today. Very excited for the conversation. Learn about leadership at the multiple levels from our guest today. But before we do that, let's just see if we have some announcements to share. Mark?
Yes. First, we want to give a big congratulations to Boggy Swamp Lodge number 452, where our past guest, Worship Master Thomas McClare, out of the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of South Carolina, has won Lodge of the Year. So, congratulations to them. It shows proof that he had some type of good leadership, and he was a good choice for the show.
Right. Buggy Swamp.
Exactly. So again, congratulations to y'all brothers. Also, on a more personal note, big shout out to Sons of Kings Lodge number 123, my lodge, and which is today is celebrating 21 years of as a chartered lodge. So thank you to all our founding members and all the brothers that came through and to keep our lodge going. And we're looking forward to 100 and plus more. Keep up the good work, brothers.
Amen. Amen. That's what's up.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Kingsmen. Kingsmen. Keep representing, brothers. We appreciate y'all. Absolutely. So before we jump into the introduction of our guest, Mark, disclaimer.
Yes, the views and opinions of this show are our own and not reflect the views or opinions of our lodges or grand lodges. The show is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. If you have any questions, please consult the proper officer in your respective jurisdiction.
Absolutely. So I have the honor to introduce our guest today is Most Worshipful Michael A. Wiggins, past Grand Master of the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of the state of New Jersey. Past Grand Master Wiggins served as Worshipful Master. Oh, he's currently a member of Hiram Lodge number 5 of the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge, state of New Jersey, out of Lawnside, New Jersey. He served as Worshipful Master in the year 2019. He also served as Worshipful Master of the Lodge of Research and Education number 2006 for 3 years, from 2018, 2019, and 2020, the COVID year. He served as Most Worshipful Grand Master of the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge in New Jersey from 2021 through 2023, I believe.
That's good.
He is an honorary past Most Excellent Grand High Priest of the Holy Royal Archmasons. He is an honorary past Most Illustrious Grand Thrice Illustrious Master, the Royal and Select Master. Say that 5 times fast. He is an honorary past Most Eminent Grand Commander for the Knights Templar. He is a past patron of Arbor Vitae,
Vita.
Vita,
Mhm.
chapter number 40 of the Order of Eastern Stars, Prince Hall affiliated. And he also was honored with the 33rd and last degree of Masonry in the Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite. Most worshipful
Yes,
Wiggins,
sir.
past Grand Master, thank you for being on the Masterful Conversations podcast.
Appreciate you. I do have one correction. I was Worshipful Master in 2009.
2009.
No,
Did I say
okay.
19?
You said 19. That's all
Oh
good.
my gosh.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot. That was
Yeah, I've been doing a
2019.
lot.
Thank you for that correction.
Came
2009.
out of
Thank you.
Worshipful Master, went right into Grandmaster. That'd have been crazy. That would have been a story.
Teleportation.
Yeah, that would have been a story. Definitely.
Hey, somebody out there. I know somebody went right from Master
Somebody got
I do know some people who have done that.
it.
to
They
Deputy
shall
Grand.
remain nameless, but yeah,
Mhm.
not
Thank
me.
you. Thank you. Appreciate you being on the show for sure.
Thanks for having me.
Also, man, before you get started, it's a big the brothers in New Jersey definitely take care of the sisters because a lot of the past Grand Masters have served as patrons. So big shout out to y'all for doing that work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
Well,
Show the
the
sisters
sisters
love.
teach us a lot. They teach us a lot. And I had an opportunity to serve with my wife.
Oh, nice,
She was
nice,
worthy matron, I was worthy patron. So that was interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
we heard that story before too. So it's
Yeah.
definitely those
Hmm.
things. Was it Bonds, Brother
Well,
Bonds?
Barnes is
Uh,
yeah, he probably served, but he about to trying to serve as grand and
Yeah,
grand matron together. That's
yeah,
what they
yeah.
locked up to be. If everything goes well.
Nah, I love
yeah,
it. Love it.
they
Good
ran some
stuff.
story to share.
Hmm. Hmm.
Absolutely. So, this show, this episode or this podcast is about leadership through your lens. And so we would love to learn about your leadership journey, but we also want to understand some of the history about your story and masonry as well. So would you mind just starting us off with a little bit of background about your journey in masonry, the year you were raised in masonry, if you remember who the worshipful master was at that time or the grand master at that time, and then talk about your progression to the east in the Blue House.
Certainly. I was raised in February of 2005 in Lawnside, New Jersey at my lodge, Hiram Lodge No. 5. And my worshipful master was Worshipful Master Rodney Cunningham. Sharp guy, no nonsense worship master, the best King Solomon you'll ever want to see doing a degree work. Phenomenal guy. My grandmaster at the time was Most Worshipful Thomas P. Caldwell. He has since passed, but he was the grandmaster at the time. And I came into a lodge where our membership was relatively small. My first seat was junior deacon. So in my eyes, I was just raised in February. Our Masonic year comes to an end in May 31st. So that June, I was appointed junior deacon. So I'm like, I just came in, now I'm carrying a rod. Like that was like amazing to me. And the
Hmm.
significance of that just blew my mind. But at that point in time, you do the math, you realize, okay, I'm on a fast track. Because if I continually
Hmm.
do a good job, I'm looking ahead. I'm going to be worshipful master in 4 or 5 years. And that's exactly how it went down. My lodge at the time was very, very small. Now, fortunately, from the time that I was raised in 2005 to the time I became worshipful master in 2009, my lodge hit a growth spurt. We probably brought in somewhere between 50 and 60 brothers in that 5 year time period.
Nice. Okay.
So things were absolutely great. Um, I was a student of the book. I studied. I had to be proficient. The first thing I did after being raised was ask our dean of instruction if I could participate in the next class's school of instruction. And we had a standardized curriculum and everything like that. And I felt like, okay, now I'm junior deacon. Um, I don't know enough to be junior deacon. So for me, I said I need to continually be studying, and I didn't know what to study on my own. So I just jumped in with every class that came after that. And then after 3 years, I was the assistant dean, and then eventually I was a dean of instruction. And I've been on the dean of instruction committee ever since I was raised.
Wow.
Even
Okay.
now, I'm an
Mm.
assistant dean of instruction. I've never left the school of instruction from my lodge. Never. Coming through all the chairs, all the different positions that I've had, I've always made time to make sure that I was giving back to our new members, which in my opinion is the best investment you can make because you have an opportunity to fortify your foundation every time you bring in a new member. It's the best investment you can make. So I was on a fast track, but I took it very seriously. And by the time I was master, like we were flowing. We had members competing for positions, and we had those good problems.
Yeah.
Where
Hmm.
you're trying to find people to take a seat. Now we got people fighting over seats.
Please, yeah.
We had good problems back then. We learned as an inner apprentice the tide ebbs and flows twice in 24 hours, right?
Hmm.
Well, that's symbolizing life. In life, things ebbs and flows. You really
Hmm.
can't control it. You can anticipate it. You can try to prepare for it. So at that time, my lodge was flowing. We were flowing, bringing in members. raising money, doing charity.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing some great things. Everybody was smiling. There was a spirit of love and competition in the air that you like, that noble
Noble
emulation, do the
contention.
best
Noble
work and best
contention.
grade. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That noble contention. So
Contention.
we was
Mm-hmm.
experiencing that. So I had nothing but great things to say about my journey up until that point. At some point in time, I was asked to be the district grand lecturer after I came out as Worshipful Master. So now we're talking, so I was Worship Master. I came out in 2010. 2011, I was appointed to the KOP, Knights of Pythagoras. In 2012, I was appointed District Grand Lecturer for my district, the First Masonic District. Um, that was monumental for me. I did not see it coming. The Grand Master that appointed me, he's actually one of my mentors, even still to this day. He's a near dear brother that I trust everything with, Masonically and otherwise. And I served my 2 years as district grand lecturer. I did a couple other things. I eventually ran for junior grand warden in 2015. Well, actually, I ran in 2013 and lost. Then I ran again in 2015 and won. And then that was my track to being grandmaster. So I said a lot. So what do I need to backtrack on? What did you
I
miss?
Now I have a question just as far as the way I work things. District lecturer, were you the only one for the district or was it a few of y'all?
So we have eight Masonic districts.
Mm-hmm.
Each district has a district deputy grand master
Mm-hmm.
and a district grand lecturer.
So just one of each.
Just one. Yes,
Okay.
just one of it. Now, some of our larger districts will have an assistant,
Okay. I
but my
understood.
district only has 4 lodges, so we have one district deputy grand master and one district grand lecturer. So I serve the district grand lecturer over the 4 lodges in our district.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Good question.
Excellent. So when you were at that junior deacon space, you had a realization that you had about 4 or 5 years before you moved to the East. Can you talk a little bit about your preparation? I mean, I love the strategy about you being new to the craft, saying, "Hey, listen, I don't know enough. I got this leadership role that is moving me up. I'm going to these classes. I'm gonna be, really ingrained in this book, so I can be tight ritualistically and also just grow from the learning, the teachings." Um, how else, if at all, were you preparing yourself for like that next move? So let's imagine there's a junior deacon right now listening that has a couple of years. How were you preparing yourself in these different seats in masonry? If you could talk about that progression, if you remember.
Yes. So it's funny because now I can explain it, what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas back then I really couldn't explain it. It was just a natural move. But in leadership, there's levels to leadership. And everyone starts off at that level one leadership, which is basically based on your position. Right. You probably heard of like positional leaders. So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm appointed junior deacon, people are only gonna adhere to what they have to adhere to because I don't have any real authority. So for a junior deacon or any position in lodge, you want to maximize your role and responsibility at that title. Like, do it. If you don't know, then you need to be asking someone. They say well-informed brothers. Well, I did that. I formed a relationship with every past master in the lodge, particularly the ones that will come out to the meetings that I had access to. They all knew who I was. I made sure of it. Got their phone numbers. I contacted them. I asked them if they needed something, if I could be of any assistance. And what that did was that lended them my ear, right? So they were able to give me that wise counsel. And the walls were broken down. We had a relationship. But now they also start to believe in me. They start I start to model what their expectations are, so I know what to expect when I'm doing these different responsibilities. And then the bond grows. So anybody that's in a leadership position, particularly at an entry level leadership position, the best thing you can do is get ingrained with your people. Like if you don't know the job and it's going to take time to learn the job, learn the people, build those relationships. Because the more relationships that you build, the easier it is to learn a job, the more willing people are going to be to teach you. They can correct you if they realize that you have a relationship, that you can listen, you're going to listen. You're going to stop. You're not going to take offense because you've established a relationship. You give them permission to teach you. So that's what I did. I realized that I didn't know anything. Literally, like I didn't know anything. I was proficient in my ritualistic work as far as was expected, but it's so much more than that. And just knowing my membership and him having trust in me, um, gave me an opportunity to perform better. So then when it's time to get that next appointment, I was good. Like I tell junior deacons now, and I just had this conversation with a junior deacon over the summer, literally. He said, yo, I don't know what to do. I said, listen, your job is to know everybody's name. You're at the outer door. If you don't do anything else, you need to learn everyone's name and get their title and positions correct. If you take the time to do that and you introduce people the correct way, you have no idea that will go a long way. Because as Masons, don't mess up my name.
Yeah. Yeah.
My name
Yeah.
is Michael A. Wiggins or
Mm,
Michael Anthony Wiggins.
mhm.
That's it. It's not Mike. It's not, Masonic is
Yeah.
speaking. That's what
Yeah,
you refer to
exactly.
me as.
Hmm.
And if you learn that as a junior deacon, people will appreciate that. And that's just like entry level information. So I just ingrained myself with the craft. No tricks, not rocket science. Shake everybody's hand, making a point to learn everybody's name, the way they want to say it, the way they spell it, their titles, right? Worshipful this, district deputy that. And then you got all the fancy titles. Learn it, learn it. And now people will endear themselves to you, even at an entry level. So that's what I did as junior deacon. And then as senior deacon, of course, my responsibilities increased. Now you got a lot of degree work that you got to handle as senior deacon. You're introducing and accommodating now. So that's just another level. How can you accommodate somebody that you didn't take the time to know who they were when you had the other position? So that you can't skip things because it just makes the job harder. So
True.
that's what I did. I was a student of the craft, figuratively and literally.
Absolutely. And then when you became an elected officer as junior warden, um, how did your leadership at all evolve? And then senior warden is that last stage of preparation before becoming worshipful master. Did your leadership or did the strategy change at all? Or was it a similar strategy?
It was a similar strategy, but I realized that every level, the vantage point is different, right? Every seat that you take in a lodge, it proposes a different vantage point. Sitting in the east, west, south, it's a different vantage point. So as junior warden, as an elected officer, we have customs and responsibilities. We have our Grand Lodge raffle. From New York, you probably heard about New Jersey's annual Grand Lodge raffle. We raffle off
Hmm.
of bins, this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
Well, in New Jersey, it's customarily the junior warden's responsibility to manage that. That's like your first real big fundraiser that you have an opportunity to manage and show your worth. So again, in order to be successful in any fundraising endeavor, particularly with your membership, you got to know who they are. So I was able to be successful with that because I spent the time in my previous two positions, not really understanding what was down the road, but because I did it, it made that next level that much easier for me. So it was successful. Um, I am competitive. And what I mean by competitive, I believe in putting out my best effort and I want to succeed the person that came before me. And I also want the person coming behind me to do better than I did. Like I'm a
Hmm.
firm believer in that.
Hmm.
So because of that, I'm naturally going to push to see what you did. How did it work for you? What were your pluses? What were your minuses, your successes and your failures? And I'm going to ask you, like, yo, where did you stumble at? Where was it difficult for you? And
Hmm.
and you're gonna tell me, we're gonna have a conversation, and I'm gonna tell you, okay, well, what advice can you give me? Because I gotta do better than you did. You will want me to do better than you did. And it's all out of love, but it's for the organization, right? Each one
Hmm.
teach one. So
Hmm.
that's the practice that I've had every step along the way and everything I've done masonically. My objective is to take what my predecessor did, learn from it, tweak it, and then improve upon it. And then do the same thing for the person coming behind me. And if you adopt that mindset, particularly from a leadership perspective, you should always gain favor. You might not always win, right? Wins and losses are counted differently, but you'll gain the favor, you'll gain the trust, and the people that you are serving, because leadership is about serving, right? It's not about being served. It is about serving. The people that you are serving will appreciate that. And then you get the benefit of the doubt almost every time. So when things don't go the way you would like it to go, we got you, Grant. We got you, brother. We understand where you at. We see your efforts. It's all good. We're going to try it again. Let's go get it. And that kind of attitude, that atmosphere, it fosters success.
Amen. Excellent.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, I had this wondering, how did you wind up developing that mindset? Because you seem like you came into the craft with that, or was forward thinking or whatever. Did that come from the family or from schooling or another organization, or how did that get inculcated in you?
That's a great question. The best thing I can say is that it probably came from my dad. My dad was an entrepreneur. He was a business person, and I've seen him struggle. I've seen his business fail. And then I saw how he reacted, and I would ask him like, "Yo, Pop, like, what happened? What did you do? Like, where did you go wrong?" And he said, "I should have did this." So, all right, well, next time, we have to approach it this way. And I was a young guy when my dad had his business, and he eventually passed as a result of stress.
Mm,
So that's always weighed on me to not allow myself to get to that position. So I thrive on preparation. That's key for me. Preparation, preparation, preparation. And if you do that, you can handle the results, whatever they may be, because you were
mhm.
prepared for it. So that's just kind of the mindset that I've had from watching my dad successes, and more importantly his struggles that eventually took him out, in my opinion. And it stuck with me. So I'm always looking to improve, to do better, and to help someone else do better in the process.
All right. Yeah.
That's a great
Condolences
question.
to you. Absolutely. So, tell us a little bit about when you were in the East, um, for that year in 2009 when you
Yeah,
were in
okay.
the East.
So
Can you just tell us about what did you focus on in that year, and how did you sort of set it up with your lodge?
perfect question. So listen, so I stated we were flowing as a lodge. Our lodge was growing. We had the good big lodge problems. So managing that was a priority, right? So I was able to implement our first lodge website, believe it or not. So we had an internet presence in 2009. Um, we got reconnected with our community. Not only because it was necessary, but because I had all of these young master masons. They've been in the craft 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and there's only 14 positions, right? We got a couple committees, so I
mm,
had to find something to feed this energy.
nice.
So my mind said, you know what? Let's get engaged with this community a little bit better. Now I can put these brothers and kind of give them something to do energetically, and that will help them thrive and help them grow. And then it's actually adding value to our community. So we had community committees where we would sit in on the townships or the boroughs board meetings once a month, and I would send a couple brothers there for that. We adopted families in our community that were needy. So I had a couple brothers focused on identifying who those families were, making sure that we collecting the goods in the lodge and that they got their care packages every month. So I was able to direct the attention of our membership on other Masonic functions that ordinarily just didn't come naturally, but it got everybody engaged. And then it's like, wow, we're doing all these great things. Like we started our first youth group in 2009. So a couple of the brothers that were into the youth, they had kids. Okay, that's your project. And then that later turned into our Knights of Pythagoras chapter. But initially it was called the Francis E. Johnson Knights of Pythagoras. But before that, it was called the Hiram Junior Apprentice Mentoring Program.
Mm,
Because I had three daughters. So my three daughters are part of the mentoring program, and we had a couple brothers that were focused on that. So I just kind of gave everybody an assignment. Some of the assignments was in the lodge, some of the assignments was outside the lodge. I'm gonna allow people to utilize their skill sets. Everybody is not going to function the same inside the four walls of a lodge meeting, but you give them something to do outside the lodge. Now their value is felt. They feel like they're contributing, even if you don't see them at the meeting. I know
Hmm.
that you're contributing in other ways. So we were able to thrive from that. I was Worshipful Master of the Year, or one of the Worshipful Masters of the Year that year. We were very, very successful, and like I said, we were flowing. We were flowing, and
Nice.
I couldn't say anything. I was upset to come out. Like I wanted to serve again. But we were at the point where everybody wanted the line to progress. Like, nah, you did your time. It's time for you to go.
Yeah.
It's my turn now.
Yeah.
And that's a good problem to have, right? That's a great problem. So that's what we did. We implemented some things that allow people to get engaged, allow people to have a job, so to speak, so that everyone could feel like they were contributing to the success of the lodge. And it
Yeah.
was overwhelmingly successful.
Yeah, those are great problems to have. That to have a lodge that's that engaged, that folks are
Mhm.
fighting over ritual work, folks
Yeah,
are fighting
exactly.
over
Mhm.
lodge positions. They want to engage, and you had about what about 70 people at that 70 brothers at that time because you
At
had
that
about a
point in
50.
time, we probably had, when I came out in 2009, in 2010, so true story, right? I'm not proud of this story. Um, we had not dropped any brothers in like 3 years for whatever
Hmm.
reason, or 2 years prior to my year for whatever
Okay.
reason. And so when it came time for the financials and my going to latter end of my year, I had a list. We had like 40 something people on a list
Mm.
that were delinquent in their dues. Again, we were growing faster than that it should be allowed, quite honestly.
Yeah.
We were growing fast. And not everybody sticks around. You're bringing them in, but they're not all going to stick around. So they called it Black Monday. I don't remember the number exactly, but it was somewhere north of 30 that I
Mm,
dropped in one
mm,
sitting. Called
mm,
it Black Monday. So it was rough. But it needed to be done. I did it.
mm.
Who else to do it, right? I wouldn't put that on anybody else. If not me, then who? And that number was three people that I brought in,
Okay.
that I
Mm.
signed petitions for. And I brought them in, and I let them go. And some of them were family members. So they said, yo, if Mike is gonna drop brother so and so, then you know what he'll do to the rest of us.
Pay your dues.
Hey, you do.
There you do. There you do. I will not
Hey,
wrong,
you
cheat,
do.
nor defraud my.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
I had just voted down. Well, actually, I'm down here now in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where I live at now. So we had our local elections. Our local election was actually down. We had it was in a lodge. Well, actually, what I voted early was in a lodge, and I bumped into under the Grand Lodge of North Carolina, and they had a
Hmm.
couple of their proceedings out. So in one of the proceedings, I was looking through it, and it was talking about the progressive line, basically, and saying how what they was recommending for their membership at this time is for brothers to slow down and do more than 1 year, because the progressive line thing really came when lodges was like your lodge at the time when Freemasonry was booming, and you needed to just keep it moving or whatever to make sure everybody has something to do and everybody's functioning. Now that it's slowed down, we still have that mindset of the progressive line, but sometimes we could slow it. They recommending that you slow down and give brothers enough time to learn and things like that to be better for the lodge. I found that very interesting. It was funny because that same day we had a discussion in our chat when Matt was talking about to serve 4 years. But so, um yeah, that was very interesting. So yeah.
That is something that is like the gift and the curse.
Hmm.
Um, we've had similar conversations in New Jersey in the last 2 years or so.
Hmm.
Even with our Grand Line.
Hmm.
We have it, whereas you can't serve more than 2 years um, in any position, elected position in our jurisdiction.
Oh, that's
Um,
constitutional. I know. Yeah, I just did it. I ain't know it was.
That's
Okay,
constitutional or
constitutional.
customs?
in,
Consti-
in our in our jurisdiction, that is
Mhm.
constitution that you cannot
Mhm.
serve more than 2 years in elected in a progressive position. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
secretary
I
and
understand
treasurer.
that. Yep.
But
Hmm.
junior ward and senior ward and worship manager, you can't serve more than 2 consecutive years unless you
Oh,
get dispensation from a
Hmm.
grandmaster. So you have lodges that ask for dispensation. They may stay there third year or fourth year. That's fine. But
Yeah.
ordinarily, you have 2 years and then you got to go. And in our Grand Line, it's the same way. You have 2 years and you got to go. And we've even had conversation about slowing down our Grand Line because, since COVID, things have just hit differently.
Yep.
It just hit differently. We are not a progressive organization in terms of membership like we used to be. And that probably is impacting every jurisdiction. I know it does in New Jersey.
Definitely.
And I talk a lot with the brothers in New York. I talk a lot with the brothers in Pennsylvania, in Delaware, Massachusetts, up here in the Northeast Corridor, even in Maryland, DC. Like I have very good relationships with these Grand Lodges, and they're all experiencing a similar, a similar time where membership, no one is knocking down the doors to become Masons. And it's not just Masons, it's all the organizations. No one is knocking down their doors because we've become proficient at doing something else. We're proficient at multitasking, and we have short attention spans. We want all the information right now. And that's a recipe that just does not fit Freemasonry. It just doesn't.
Exactly.
Freemasonry you're gonna have to slow down if you're going to be effective. It is mouth to ear. Yeah, we have technology and we have books and things of that nature, but if you go back into our history, before there were books, that legitimate mouth to ear was the way that they learned. And there's something to say about being patient and diligent and sacrificing and experiencing the growth in that manner. And our organization was probably better for it going back 100 years or even 50 years. It was better for it. Right now, we are experiencing that where, we want to slow down things, we want to slow down the line, so to speak. But here's another problem. Sometimes we find people to slow down the line, but they misinterpret that as slowing down the progress. So you can slow down the line, but that don't mean you slow down the progress.
Not at
You're
all.
not, you're not, you're not there as a placeholder. You're still there to progress the organization.
Yes.
You'll get a past master that'll come in to quote unquote slow down the line. My man, I need you to go to the seminars. I need you to do your trestle board on time. I need you to do all the stuff that you would do if you were a brand new worshipful master.
You have to be
Because
the
that's
example.
what's the organization.
Still set an example.
You
Yep.
need to be the. You need to even be a better example.
Need to be a better example. And it's critical. I know my experience as grandmaster started off the same way as my experience as worshipful master, meaning the progressive line. When I went in as junior grand warden, we were probably considered one of the youngest grand lines in the country, maybe.
Yeah.
We were considered a progressive grand line. Everyone in the grand line was under 50. From the grandmaster down to, we were all in our 40s, not just like 48, 49, 41, 42.
42, yeah.
Some of us, the grandmaster was 42 at grandmaster. He was 42.
Who was that? Shelton?
Shelton, yeah, he was 42 as grandmaster. So he was in his 30s when he got in line. So we were a young line, a lot of energy. Everything was getting done, movers and shakers. Everything was great. I came into a line where everything was beautiful, just like I came into a lodge where everything was beautiful. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Yo, then COVID hit. Rocked everybody's world. I was deputy grandmaster. And it was not to discredit the seriousness of that time period, because we all understand a lot of people lost their lives, a lot of people lost their livelihoods. It was a devastating time period. But just looking at it from the organizational perspective, it was horrible. And it was something that leadership was not prepared for. No one's leadership, not to speak of Masonically. The world's leaders were not prepared for it. So you had different perspectives, you had different fears. Everyone's feelings were validated by what was in the news. Some people didn't believe it. Some people were overly critical. You had the extremes, and it made leading what some like to say a volunteer organization. I don't say that, but some people like to use that term.
Mm.
It made leading a volunteer organization very, very difficult. So I came in 2021, June of 2021. We were on the tail end at that point in time.
Yeah.
Things were kind of opening back up slowly, but we were
Mm.
able to open back up. And I had the task of having my first three offices, junior grand, senior grand, deputy grand, being fruitful, high energy, exciting, to now picking up the pieces and making sure that we have an organization that the next 50 years can depend on. So that was a job that, some would say, I don't want that job. But I looked at it like, if not me, then who? Like, if not me, then who? Who would I put that responsibility on? Who would I
Hmm.
trust it to?
Exactly. I do
So
have another question towards that too. Since we went through COVID and seen it happen, didn't know what was happening, but we know something could happen. Like, have you been in discussions with other leaders to see, their forward thinking to get prepared in case something like this was to happen in the future? Anybody thinking about that at all?
yes, yes.
Okay,
So
cool.
so we've had some in New Jersey
Yeah.
particularly, we've
Okay.
had some contingency planning conversations.
Nice. Nice.
Nothing has, to my understanding, nothing has been
Mm-hmm.
put in writing,
Mm-hmm.
but it has been discussed. We've had conversation with our jurisprudence, our ritualistic team, those people that want to figure out how to do Masonic work virtually, whereas before it was a no-go.
Mm-hmm.
And we still have some differences of opinions, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Some say, listen, we don't do Masonic work virtually, and they're going to die on that. And I understand. I'm probably one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very strongly about that. I believe that there's another way. But the fact is, we're having a conversation. So where you're having conversation, there's always an opportunity for a successful outcome to emerge because you're engaged. I can't speak for other jurisdictions, but I would
Okay.
imagine
Mm-hmm.
that they are. I know when I was Grand Master, we did have conversations loosely about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know whether they put things into action. I couldn't speak to that. But that's a
Cool.
great question because fool me once, shame
Yeah,
on
exactly.
you. Fool me twice,
Like,
shame
what?
on me.
Exactly. And well, I will leave it at there. But the same discussions we having with the lodges should be having the same type of thing. If they're struggling or whatever, what discussions are you having, or what are you even imagining your lodge can be like? You know what I
Yep.
mean? Most of the time, it seems like they get stuck in we're just low and we don't have that many people. They don't even imagine being back to where they was at one time. And if you can't imagine it, you're not going to be there. You know what I mean? So these
You're right.
discussions and stuff definitely need to happen.
When I was Grand Master, I had a motto. And it's a motto that I created when I was running for Junior Grand Warden.
Mm,
So I had it for a while. And the motto was remaining relevant by being first.
mm,
And FIRST is an acronym for financial, intellectual, resourceful, spiritual teachers.
mm,
That was my motto when I ran for Junior Grand Warden, and it was the same motto I had when I was Grand Master. And to me, that motto is significant because I talked about ebbing and flowing, right? You're gonna have ups and you're gonna have downs. That's just life. It's in the lives, it's in your family, it's on your job. It's just life. So for me, the trick is this: while you're flowing, you need to understand why. Like, why are we having this success?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Instead of just enjoying it and going
mm-hmm,
along for the ride, somebody
mm-hmm,
needs to ask the question, okay, so why is this working out so well?
mm-hmm.
What are we doing? And you need to be making record of that so that when the ebb comes, because guess what? It's coming.
Coming.
We went through a period where we brought in 50 members in 4 or 5 years. Or we
Mm-hmm,
went through a period where we was bringing in one or two a year.
mm-hmm,
We were ebbing. And
mm-hmm,
then COVID hit. And then everybody's ebbing. So that motto, for me, when they say get back to basics, to me, that's the basics. Because if you focus on your finances, If you focus on being intellectual, and I'm speaking Masonically or otherwise,
Yeah.
if you focus on being resourceful, meaning that you don't have to do this by yourself, who are your partners? Who are your friends? Who can you collaborate with? If you
The
focus
people.
on your spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost, if you focus on teaching, which we're supposed to be doing as Masons,
Master
then when you
Masons.
start ebbing, when things start getting bad, that's the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
When things start going bad, let's check our finances. When things
Mm-hmm.
start going bad, well, what is it that I know? What do I need to know? What am I missing? What do I need to read? When things start going bad, well, who can I reach out to? Who are my resources? Who are my connects? When things start going bad, are you praying? Did you forget about God? What about
Mm-hmm.
that? And then last and perhaps most important, are we teaching? Because that's going to get you out of that ebb back into your flow sooner than waiting for it to happen by chance. So that motto, although I had knew nothing about COVID, obviously, that motto was the perfect motto for the time that we were in. Because that's what we did. That's what we did as a jurisdiction. Lodges were charged with getting their finances in order. We did a statewide audit. Every lodge had to do an audit prepared by the Grand Lodge. Not that I cared about your finances per se, but I need to make sure you understood what your financial situation was. It was for their benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Every lodge had to do their own degree work. If you're doing your own degree work, that means you're studying. You're cracking open the book. You're not going to depend on past master so-and-so or this lodge over here. You're going to do your own work because you're going to be accountable for your own lodge and your own business. That's increasing your intellect.
Mm-hmm.
Resourcefulness. Everyone was charged with collaborating with their community stakeholders. Every lodge was charged to do that. Who's your mayor? Who's your police captain? Who's your school superintendent? Who's your city council? Who are these people? Do they
Mm-hmm.
know who you are?
Mm-hmm.
What can you do for them? What can they do for you? Have roundtable discussions at your lodge about community issues that you can help participate in as a lodge. Every lodge, every person was charged with checking back in with God. Like whatever, no matter what religion you are, like connect back and then teach it. So the motto that started off as a pretty motto for ebbing and flowing coming out of COVID, it was real and it was received. And did we hit everything as a home run? No, we didn't. How we couldn't. We was coming out of COVID. But we
Mm-hmm.
moved the needle a significant amount, whereas we're back. Like we were back. We went back to in-house meetings that September 2021. We went
Mm-hmm.
back. Were they mad? Yeah, some people was very upset. They were. And so
Mm-hmm.
I understand. We had some contingency plans, but by far we were getting back to business as best we can, as safe as we can. So my years as Grand Master was monumental. I would not have scripted any other way. Like I was supposed to lose that first time. I was supposed to lose
Mm-hmm.
because God knew that remaining relevant by being first was going to be necessary in the summer of 2021. He knew that.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that back
Mm-hmm.
in 2012, 2013, 2014. He knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And that I had to plan for it, that he was working through me. At least that's
Mm-hmm.
my perspective.
Yeah, I get it. Definitely. Um, we have a foundational question on the show, and is what is effective leadership?
So before I answer that question, professionally, if you didn't know, professionally, since May of 2022, I am a professional leadership coach. I specialize in leadership, professional growth, personal growth. I do leadership training, executive coaching, leadership teaching, leadership talks. That's what I do as a profession.
Mm.
So for you to ask
Mhm.
me that question, like that's another whole conversation for me. But
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
gonna answer.
You
I'm
know
gonna
how to
answer right.
I also know you know how to narrow it down.
I know how to narrow it down. So for me, effective leadership comes down to first of all, we understand that leadership is
Mhm.
influence, right? That's your
Yep.
ability to influence
Hmm.
people to follow you. That's what leadership is. It doesn't speak to good or bad influence, just the fact that you need to have some influence. So for me, effective leadership starts with service. Your leadership need to be driven by your willingness to serve. That's number one. Number two, preparation. Effective leadership, a prepared leader, an effective leader is always prepared. Service, preparation. Number three is credibility. You have to model your message. If you can't model your message, then you're probably not going to be effective. Number four is development. Your focus should be developing people. Like leaders that need to lead followers is not effective to me. I'm looking for leaders that want to lead leaders. So you need to be in a development business. And then the fifth point is what I like to call a growth environment. Your leadership skills, your leadership strategy should be conducive for people to come and grow around you. That's what effective leadership is to me. Service-oriented, preparedness, credibility, development, and a growth environment. Those 5 key points. If you're hitting on those 5 key points, in my book, I will consider you an effective leader, or at least on your way to becoming an effective leader.
All right.
That's a great
Excellent.
question. And my favorite one.
Look, I thought you was going to go into something else way earlier because right now I'm actually listening to the book Good to Great.
Uh-huh.
And they talked about level 5 leadership. So earlier when you said level 1, I thought you was talking about that, but I see we was at a different place. But I know you know about that
but
book.
that was there though.
Yeah, I know, same type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have went there, right. Level 1 is the level 5 is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And it depends on how you define it. The pinnacle leadership. Your leadership is based on your respect. Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
Great stuff.
So, couple of other questions here. Would love to understand. We do ask this question about how you show up today, where you sit now, in your current lodge in Hiram Lodge number 5 as a past master. So, you being in the leadership space professionally, you serving at the highest level in your jurisdiction. Very curious about what advice or first tell us how you show up as a past master in Hiram today, and if there's anything that past masters should be mindful of as they are serving at their respective lodges.
Yes. So my attendance since I was raised in 2005, I may have missed, I used to keep count. I think it's up to like 7 meetings. I know it's fewer than 10, fewer than 9. It's like 7 or 8 meetings that I've missed since I was raised. That I've missed. Going through the grand line, all of that. That I've missed. Sickness and all that good stuff. I've missed fewer than 9 meetings, like 7 or 8 meetings.
You're showing up. So
I'm showing up.
Mm.
So that being said, I'm not your typical past master. I never was. Before becoming interested in the grand line, like that's all just a matter of circumstance. I'm a past master of Hiram Lodge number 5. I always have been, I always will be. And because I do understand the responsibility of leaders and leadership, I understand that my job is to help cultivate and to create that growth environment that I talked about, right? Being an effective leader. So in doing so, that didn't stop once I came out as Grandmaster. It didn't stop. So now I'm actually elected the treasurer of my lodge. So I came out as Grandmaster and they elected me to be treasurer. So they had at least that much confidence that I wasn't going to try to take over the lodge, right? So I believe this. You have a job to do, and it's my job to help you do your job as best I can. I never want to be Worshipful Master again, if I can help it. That's not in my design.
Mark that question off, Mark. We can take that question.
You can mark that question off. Listen, if I'm called to do so, that's something totally different. But I do not aspire to be a Worshipful Master again. So that means I need to do everything I can to make sure that the ones we have are successful. And that's how I approach it. You are the Worshipful Master. It is your will and pleasure, sir. What can I do to help you? And that's where it stops. Yeah, I'm a past grandmaster, absolutely. And if pushed, or if you need to be reminded of that for any particular reason, maybe I might be inclined to remind you. But that's never the objective. I'm past Master Michael Wiggins. That's who I am, past Master Wiggins. And if you know me very, very well, you might get away with calling me Wig. That's cool. When I come to the meeting, I'm not coming as most worshipful grandma. Nah. You know why? Because when I leave this earth, Lord's will, I'm gonna have a white apron on. I'm gonna be buried with a white apron on, Lord's will. The same way I came into the lodge is gonna be the same way I exit the lodge with a white apron on. Titles, positions, that's for a period of time. We living in a circle. You keep going around that circle, you pass the same thing over and over and over again. So it doesn't pay to get too excited about a title, because guess what? Sooner or later, you're not gonna have it no more, and you're gonna be right back where you were. So you treat people right going up, and have no problem with them coming back down. So that's my perspective. My masters have never had a problem with me. Rising up through the line while I was grandmaster, I went to my meetings. And I didn't go there to perform and to dictate. I didn't do any of that. Like, it's your lives. Do what you gotta do, sir. Do what you gotta do. And I don't have to agree. It's for those who can best work and best agree, right? I'm just one voice. Now, when it's time for Grand Lodge business, then that's a different conversation. But Lodge business, this is your world. You do the job you can do the best you can, and I will help you as best I can. Never have a problem. And I would challenge anybody who would say anything differently, quite honestly.
All right.
Yeah,
Good.
to me, it's something you me thinking. It's like, if you got a wife that's a passenger princess, you always got to drive. You be happy when she finally get a driver's license. So, you grandmaster, you happy? Yeah, you drive. I'm chilling right now and enjoy this meeting. I ain't got nothing. you know.
Exactly.
That's a good analogy, the passenger princess analogy. I think, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's the first time I'm hearing. I like that analogy. They make me work a little harder than I want to work sometimes. Because I am the treasurer, I am privileged to some information that it may irritate me, but it doesn't irritate me as a past grandmaster. It would irritate me as a past master, like it would any other past master. So that's the difference.
Yeah,
that's the difference. I'm a regular guy in the lodge meeting.
You're not a past master. You're not just a tad bit grumpy. You gotta be a tad bit grumpy.
You gotta be.
Just the frustration, right? The past master's frustration. That's a real thing. That's a real thing, though.
That's real. We gotta talk some trash. We in the amen corner, we whispering. Yeah, that's what we do. I do the same thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you
most times
gotta tell me to be quiet.
Yeah. Sorry, words.
Sorry, words. My bad, words. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. But you gotta. I knew. Since you in New Jersey, we did have Shelton Prescott on for a few, but we just still want to know all your mentors or people you looked up to out in New Jersey. Let's get some more names for the history perspective.
Good question. So I served with Shelton Prescott, Tyson Rasul Dawood, and Jeffrey C. Spann. They were Grandmaster, Deputy, and Senior Grand Warden when I was Junior Grand Warden. So I've looked to the three of them at different times for friendship, camaraderie, bounce ideas off of, more or less as peers. We were kind of in the same age group. We were those guys that everybody was talking about. So we've established a pretty great relationship between the four of us. So I've kind of always looked at them as peers. When you say mentor, there's one person directly that comes to mind. His name is Most Worshipful Robert L. Oglesby Sr. He's the past Grandmaster. He was the one who appointed me to be District Grand Lecturer back in 2012 or 2011 it was.
Oglesby's the deputy now for Scottish Rite, right? Oh no, he's the
Grand Minister of State.
Grand Minister of State. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. He was the deputy, now he's Grand Minister of State. Yes. He and I have had, I can't tell how many conversations we've had. We probably talk even now 3 or 4 times a week. 3 times a week, at least 3 or 4 times a week. We talk even now.
Mhm.
And it's not always about masonry, it's about life
Yeah.
in some
Mhm.
cases. He's the one person, he's very opinionated, and so am I.
Hmm.
And I remember having conversations with him where we don't agree. Like he's old school. Which is probably why I gravitate to him a lot, because I have an old spirit in some regard, but I'm a young guy. I'm a young buck in this thing. Like I value that, but it's not gonna
Mhm.
always stay like that. So I struggle with that. So I go to him and he'll say, "Nah, you can't do this, Grant." I'm like, "Well, don't tell me what I can't do.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Nobody
Let's
want
have
to
a
hear
conversation."
that.
And he and I can sit there and debate different points of view. I mean, like sincerely debate and be on different sides of the conversation,
Mhm.
and it's all love. Like he can disagree with me, I can disagree with him, and I just talked to him a couple days ago, and I call him Rob. Like Rob, that's why I talk to you, man, because you and I can argue and fight. He said, "Yeah, but at least you'll listen." Because
Mhm.
I am going to listen, because
Mhm.
that's what I came up
Yeah.
doing. I'm gonna
Mhm.
listen to
Mhm.
what you say worked, what it didn't work, and I'm going to try to improve upon it. So
Mhm.
because of that, he and I are like phenomenal friends. He is definitely a mentor. He was a bridge to some of the older mentors that I had in my district. Past Grandmaster Frederick Dobson Sr.,
Mhm.
past Grandmaster Dr. Ivory M. Buck.
Buck.
Um, everybody know Dr. Buck, right?
Yeah,
Ivory M.
you
Buck,
just got their
past
class
Mayor
named
Coach
after him.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes. They were all past grandmasters that I knew intimately from my district,
Mhm.
significantly older, like generations older enough to be my grandfather,
Mhm.
right? Um, all of them had poured into me when I was aspiring to do different things Masonically. Well, Rob was like the middle guy. Like they were like his mentors.
Yeah.
So when they moved on, they passed, God bless their souls. Rob was like, all right, it must be you. Like if they were your guys and they were my guys, then
Yeah.
you must be my guy now.
Guy now. Mhm.
And I don't know if it was designed like that, but
Mhm.
that's kind of how it worked out. He's from South Jersey as well. So we have that South Jersey mentality where we understand each other. Um, and he's probably like number one on the list. I do have past master Rosie Farrell, James L. Farrell. He's like my Masonic dad from my lodge. He actually looks like my dad.
Mhm.
So he was there. He will always be there. Say, "Look here, Mike, don't let them do this, that, and the other to you. You gotta watch out for this. You don't say a lot of words, but when he talk, I'm all ears." Then I got past master Johnny Covington. He and I got our 33rds together as well. He's like a dad. He's old enough to be my dad. And I stay around a lot of older gentlemen that, quite honestly, are father figures. Rob is not really a father figure because he's not quite that old,
Mhm.
but he has an old spirit, so you might forget it. Like you look at
Yeah.
him, you might think he's 80, but he's
Yeah.
not that old. Like stop
Yeah.
acting like he's 80, Rob. Like he's not that old. Um,
Yeah.
but it's funny you say mentors, right? Because
Yeah.
in my family, and this is a personal note, in
Mhm.
my family, I don't have any family. Like all my
Mhm.
aunts, uncles, my grandparents, my parents, they're all gone.
Oh wow.
Mm.
I'm the
Mhm.
oldest of three boys. I got two younger brothers. It's
Mhm.
me, my two younger brothers, and our ladies, our significant others, our wives, and our kids.
Mhm.
That's it. So when I'm looking for a grown man to talk to about life, when I'm looking for a grown man to talk to about how I'm starting my own business and I keep hitting these brick walls and I'm getting frustrated, when I need a grown man to talk to about relationships and about finances, even though I'm old enough to know, haven't seen it all,
Mhm.
it's a Masonic brother that I go to.
Mhm.
So I tell younger brothers, don't take this for granted, because if the Lord allows you to live, one day you might outlive people in your family that you will look up to.
Mhm.
And then you'll have,
Mhm.
if you're fortunate, you'll have a population of brothers that will be there for you. And I'm at that, I'm 52. Some people say that's old. Some people say I'm a baby, whatever. But at 52, I don't have a man in my family that I can call with a problem that I know can help me or that can give me the advice. He doesn't exist. He does not exist. So for me to get that, I'm turning to a Prince Hall Mason.
Hmm.
And it's worked. And I'm blessed.
I just want to say that was amazing. I thank you a million for sharing that.
Yeah.
Matt, and that clip this right here.
For sure. I mean, because we always talk about the value, like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, why are we here? And you touched on a lot of those things that you can't necessarily put a dollar value on. You can't, it's not like an ROI per se in the traditional sense, but the relationships and the access to other humans, other men, quite specifically, other men, especially another black or Hispanic man, somebody,
Mhm.
That understands
is
you.
invaluable. It's
Mm-hmm.
It's invaluable.
invaluable, especially in this day and age. So, no, thank you for sharing that. I think brothers need to hear that more often and be reminded of the
Yes.
value of this craft, of this thing we
Yep.
call masonry, because we keep thinking about the quick flip and the what am I getting out of this? You stick
Hmm.
around long enough and you do the things that you articulated, most worshipful brothers will get those relationships and those other things that you can really lean into. I know I've experienced it over the 20 years I've been in the craft. And so
Me
I mean
too.
Marcus is one of the outputs of my
Yeah, exactly.
Masonic journey,
That's why
so
we're here.
this is why we're here,
Yeah.
because of those relationships. So thank you for sharing that. That was powerful.
Thank you. Thank you for asking. Thank you
Absolutely.
for asking.
So the last question, I know you already said that you wouldn't do this anyways, but we're going to talk hypothetically. This is all
Mhm.
hypotheticals here. So, knowing what you know about yourself, knowing what you know about Hiram Lodge #5, and knowing what you know about the state of masonry in New Jersey,
Mhm.
if you were to go back to be Worshipful Master in the next election year cycle for your in your jurisdiction, what would be one thing you would focus on?
I'm, it's a good question. And it has nothing to do with masonry and, or had nothing to do with the lodge in simple terms. I'm a big proponent on personal growth. I swear by it. I'm unapologetic about it. Like almost to the point where if I'm talking to you and after 5 minutes, we're not talking about how we're going to improve something, then this conversation is a waste of my time.
Mhm.
That's kind of
Sound
where
like
I'm
Matt.
at with it. I mean, unless we're friends or something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that, I'm
yeah.
unapologetic on it. Like my mind is always on that. So if I had an
Mhm.
opportunity or was put in a position where I had to lead again in that capacity, that's the focus. We're going to put together a series of activities that's going to ensure that we are getting better, a little bit better every day, every week, every month, every year. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pour into each other skill sets, trainings, mindset shifts that take you from being so focused on goals to rather being focused on your growth. Because once you're focused on your growth meaning you becoming better, you becoming stronger, you're becoming wiser, you're becoming more affluent, you're becoming more resourceful. If you focus on those things, then your goals will be a benefactor. You become, if every one of our brothers in our lives focused on becoming better men, then the lodge by default benefits. It benefits. So, and it doesn't require you to have a title to be a leader. So the mindset that we have is that the worshipful master is the leader of the lodge. That's true. But when you put a compass and square on and you go out in the street, you are a worshipful master. You're the master. Forget the worshipful part. You're a
Mhm.
master.
Mhm.
The worshipful part that speaks to the position in the lodge. But
Mhm.
you're a master. So what are you mastering? And how are you improving? If we focus on that as individuals first, and then collectively as a unit, then our lodges benefit, our communities benefit. So if I had to go back into a position any leadership position, you best believe a large component will be focused on what are we doing to improve ourselves. Because if we focus on that, then the goals that we're trying to hit that requires discipline and mindset and positive attitude and consistency, all those things that you are dealing with on personal growth, you'll hit them. The goals become easy at that point in time. You can do anything you want if you focus on improving yourself. So that's what I would do. And everybody's not ready to hear that.
Hey, no.
So they won't
I
elect me
mean,
for that
It's out there
reason.
now. It's out there
always
now. We with
don't
you.
we always say masonry is here to make a good man better? I mean, that's exactly what you said. So,
That's a whole nother
but
episode, but you already
I'm
know
Listen,
there's
saying,
a whole nother episode.
but you
We're
want
gonna
you know
have
what's
that
funny
talk. We're gonna
though?
have that talk, that conversation. That's gonna happen.
I'm gonna give you a quick, only because you mentioned it, Mark,
hmm
the 5 levels of leadership, right?
Okay.
Level 4 is the people development level,
hmm
right?
hmm
Level 1 is based on position, level 2 is based on relationships, level 3 is based on results,
hmm
number 4 is based on people development, and
hmm
level 5 is based on respect, right? People development level of leadership. Isn't that what we're supposed to do as Master Masons?
I would say so.
So now go back on your own time and reread those 5 levels of leadership.
hmm
First 3 levels are great, awesome. But as a Master Mason, you don't start counting until you get to level 4 because we are in the people development business as Master Masons.
Yep.
Think about that.
Yeah.
hmm hmm
Yeah, you can get
hmm
results. You could be a great committee person. You can be a great chairperson, great job. But if you're not developing people, you're missing the mark as a Master Mason. You
mm
simply are. You're missing the
mm.
mark.
Or even
We
if
have
that,
opportunity.
absolutely, and even if the people that you are developing, if the people is you, the people need to be you. So
It starts with you.
it starts with you.
Absolutely. It
Absolutely.
starts with
So
you. Yep. But
now
that's
that's
another
huge.
conversation, like you said.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
you just added something to a lecture I'm putting together too, so I appreciate that.
Listen, I've done several talks.
Yeah.
I've done several leadership talks on the five
Mm.
levels of leadership. I've
hmm
done it for the secular world and I've done it masonically. I've done it. So yeah,
That's it.
that's right there.
Think we had
Yeah.
a whole conversation on one of the chats about the GDP or what's the output, what's the gross domestic product of masonry, and
Mhm.
that we people like more
The
refined
ability,
men is the
yeah,
output of masonry.
that's what it should supposed to be.
Ideally, but we know
Yeah.
men come to masonry for different reasons. The
hmm
relationship piece is one of them, so that's one, and then you have the esoteric. People think it's a mystery where the skies will open up, and then all the all the mysteries of
All
the
the,
world will
all
be
the
revealed
information is
upon
gonna
them.
come down like manna from heaven.
Haven't you?
Yeah, and then
For them
there's
to
the
do nothing
education
with
and the
it.
growth. What do you
That's
say?
all I'm sorry. I said for them to do nothing with it, but leave
Well,
it
again, another episode.
Another episode. That's hilarious.
But seriously, no, appreciate you for that.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. Thank you for that reminder.
definitely. Most worshipful, Michael Wiggins, Pastor and Master. We thank you again for being a guest on our podcast. You have left us with a bunch of stuff to think about, and I definitely suggest that the people watching go back and watch this one more time to say they don't miss anything.
Like,
Um,
subscribe to the channel.
like, subscribe to the channel. Lessons such as modeling a past master's expectations, which is good. It'll get you a long ways. Learning people, it's definitely a job as a Freemason. And
Mm.
if you don't know your job, first learn the people, and then that'll help you to learn your job. Skipping works makes things harder, not easier, brother. So don't skip.
Skip.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Find this is you looted around it, but still find something that a brother's good at as you worship master or you leaders, and then lead them in that direction. And that'll help keep them solid into the organization. We
Yep.
definitely have a problem with retaining brothers, but if you find what a brother's good at and we have it here, then he'll be happy here and he'll stay here. So
Yep.
definitely point to that. Your first acronym, financial, intellect, resources, spiritual, and teaching. Hit all those points and think about those things. Effective leadership, leadership itself equals influence, and effective leader serves. He's prepared. He has credibility. He helps develop people, and he has a growth. He has a growth development environment. So
Hmm.
make sure your environment is good too. I mean, environment includes the people that you'll be around. So be careful with
Hmm.
that, brothers. Um, and
Mhm.
last but not least, the past master's job is to make sure that the worship master accomplishes his goals and enlarges goals. It's not the past master job to give him a hard time, brothers. So cut that out and encourage your worship master and help him out so that your lodge continue to grow and he will grow as a man, most importantly. So
Yep.
again, most worship, we thank you and appreciate you.
Thank you for having
Definitely.
me. I appreciate that.
Definitely. I echo Mark's sentiments as well, most worshipful. Definitely thank you for those gems. I'm a student of leadership myself, still learning it every day. So I appreciate you just taking that on as your charge professionally, and hoping we can continue some more conversations offline just to continue to grow and learn in that space. I loved what you shared with us around preparation. There's that motto, proper preparation prevents poor performance. And in some spaces, poor performance promotes pain. And so you want to make sure that you are prepared for the work. As our grandmaster say, be ready as well
Hmm.
You ready?
in that
Hmm.
space. So
You
I
stay ready.
love
You have to get ready.
stay ready.
Hmm.
Yes, you have to get ready. I love that. The if not me, then who mentality. I think a lot of brothers come to this space trying to figure out what can be given to them instead of saying, hey, listen, I'm going to take the mantle, I'm going to run with it.
Yep.
That's an opportunity. So I appreciate you reiterating that more than once. I heard you say, if not me, then who?
Hmm.
And again, that first focus on being first. I think that's a strong acronym that I think brothers can take that and really live with that as a framework for how they think about um, solutions, how they think about navigating life, and just kind of organizing things they want to focus on. So, thank you for
Uh,
that. Thank you for all your service to the craft.
I know you do got that lapel pin. I know how y'all do in Jersey, right? You got that first lapel pin made. That's
I
yeah.
do. I do.
All right.
I
You
do. You
yeah,
know
go
what's
ahead and throw
funny?
that in the mail in North Carolina and Rochester. Go ahead and put that in the mail for us.
Listen, I have one left.
Left. Yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah. I
I
was
don't
gonna
wear
say.
it. I don't even
Okay.
wear it because
Yeah.
somebody's going to ask me for it, and I hate to tell them no, you can't have it because it's my
Mm.
Mm.
last one. I don't even wear it. I have
Oh.
one left. I went through
Uh,
so many of them pins. It's
uh,
crazy.
Past Grant, I know you went through a lot of them. If I know you got a picture of it somewhere, it's probably all over the place or whatever. Can you just send me a picture and then I'll send it to Matt and that'll give us a nice reminder of it.
I
Yeah.
will send you a picture of it. I got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
I have several
appreciate
pictures. I'll
that.
send it to you. A nice clean picture too.
Yeah. Thank
Yep.
you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Nice. Well,
Listen, if you all are interested, I do a weekly newsletter.
okay.
It's called The Collective. I'll send you the information so you can look at it.
Well,
You can subscribe
tell the
to it.
folks on the line if you don't mind. You could tell the folks and
Yeah.
Certainly.
Hmm.
I write a weekly newsletter. It is leadership based. It speaks to leadership from a corporate perspective versus a nonprofit volunteer based type of leadership perspective. Two different leadership roles that expect the same type of outcome. I've had experience in both corporate as well as nonprofit sector. And I do a lot of leadership talks based on that. So the information can be found on my website, which is www.progressive-traditions.com. Progressive-traditions.com.
all
And you can
right.
subscribe to my newsletter there as well as everything else that I'll offer in terms of services and needs. So thank you for allowing me to give you that a little bit of information.
Absolutely.
I'm already
Progressive.
subscribed.
All right. Progressive
So you already
dash
got it. Good. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I already got it, definitely. Hmm.
Good.
progressive hyphen or dash traditions.com.
Yes.
Progressive dash traditions.com. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you again, Most Worshipful, for being here. Please, everyone that's listening, like, subscribe to the channel, like this episode, share it with as many people as possible as you believe will receive some value from what you heard through this episode. There was a lot of knowledge there that was dropped. So please go back, rewind this. This is one of them episodes where you need to listen to it at least twice. This is one of those ones that you need to listen to at least twice. We like,
Just real quick, shout out to the brother that said he make notes from the show. We appreciate you, and I'm
that's
glad you're
dope.
learning from it.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Share those notes. When you get the knowledge, share the knowledge. As they say, give credit to the folks you got the knowledge from. Unless, as they say, out there, build community together in this space.
That's
We like
it.
to say, on our show. The world needs leaders, and leadership starts with being able to lead yourself. It is impossible to lead other people if you cannot lead yourself. So please, please, whether you are in the craft or in the world, take what you heard today and apply it to your life, so that you can be just a better human. And with that, God bless you and have a fantastic rest of your day.
Appreciate you, good brothers. Thank you for your services. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.